So hello everyone, this is Coding with Ojas. Today we are going to be starting the part 2 of this series or whatever. The shooter game, how to make a shooter game using Python. So in the last video we had made the player move through the screen, move left and right below the center of the center of the window, and he could shoot bullets. So in this episode, we are going to be making the play. We are going to be making the enemies which are going to come down from here. And without wasting any time, let's start. And by the way, sorry about what happened. I didn't made any videos for a long time. Well, now I'm going to start making the video. Okay. So first thing, we have these problem with. So before you start, if you are in PyCharm or Visual Studio Code and have any of these squiggly lines, please just for solve them. Okay, don't just leave them alone, or else PyCharm sometimes doesn't launch. If especially if those are red squiggly lines. Okay, wait, I'm going to solve this. Mm, yes, now it's solved. Okay. And I also made this debugging trick, I think, in the last video, where we could see how many bullets were being shooted. We must have a print line statement somewhere around here. Yep, here. Yeah, we can delete this. Oh my gosh, okay. So now we are going to create a enemy class because I kind of actually like classes. These are very good things. They are, I like them. Okay. Enemy. Now the enemy will also kind of be same like like a bullet only, but this will come down from the screen automatically after some time. So well, yeah, we are going to define init. This is an this will initialize our enemy class, meaning whenever we call this class we must also add some parameters. So self, and we will need the we don't actually need much. We are going to add just as we think about it. So first we will add make the enemy dot rect, self dot rect, meaning the rectangle which will be built. We are going to make it a pygame dot rect, and here we have left and right. Okay, I'm going to make a tuple of these. So we want the x to be, yeah, we are going to just say write the x, and y we are going to define these here, x and y. So here I'm going to make an self dot x and self dot y so that we can access these variables. So here self dot x. What I do is actually I found out this trick. You could actually unpack many more variables using this trick. Self dot y, and so this will be x and y. Now this will reduce lines, which is actually good. If you reduce the lines of how much code you write, it is actually good. So now pygame.rect x.y, x and y, and so x and y, and we also need the height and width and height. So with it, we are going to make the width. We are going to compare it with our player class in the player. Oh my gosh, this scroll. Where is yeah, yes, player. So okay, the we have set it to 26. So we are going to make the enemies also sign something like 20. 20, 20. So now we have our rect. Rect. We are going to make an v as self dot speed. I don't know if will it be needed or not, and we are going to see. Okay, so self dot speed, we are going to set this to something like, let's say it to 4. I think 4 is good. And SEL self dot v velocity y, we are going to set that to 0. Actually, I don't think we would need any velocity y. I guess that is it for the initialization. Now we are going to make an draw function. It will have self and the window which it will be in. So the draw, so what this will do is pygame pygame dot draw dot rect. Here we are going to specify the win, meaning the surface where we want to paste this in. Then we must write the color. So whatever, you can choose a color from your browser. Let me open that. I don't know why didn't I open this. Oh come on, this will take time. So in your browser, type COLORPICKER, and I know some of you might be thinking, why am I spelling this wrong? Well, in programming that's how we spell, but in here we can spell COLOUR, color, because this is a browser. It knows knows it. Just a minute. So after you search color picker, you will have some window like this. Here you can search the colors. Just a minute, it needs to load. Okay, some programs take a lot of time to load. Still loading. Here you can choose the color and it will show all the RGB values and whatever you want, like the RGB values or the CMYK, HSV and HSL and the hexadecimal values. So here we can move this and find some color for the enemy. I will choose red because enemies are dangerous and red is also kind of a danger color. Okay, I think 242 and 7 are good colors. I'm going to copy this, Command C. If you're in Windows, Control C. Oh, why did I do that? Go back to your Python window and make a tuple with the color. Then after this we have to give it the rect, which will be self dot rect, meaning it is this value. And by the way, just so you know, we must update this to self dot x and self dot y. Now why am I doing this is because in the update, we have an update function. We will have an update function for our enemy, right? So if we give like x and y, it would have just used the x and y and never moved the from there. So I just recommend using self dot x and self dot y. We made those variables, right? So here we have the draw function. Now we are going to create our update function. This will have nothing because we don't need anything for this. Update So what will happen in this is we want the enemy to go down in the window. We still have a window running. Oh, okay. Here we can run. Oh, oops. We still need to make our enemy. So we are just going to write pass here, and let me show you what would happen. So we want the enemies to flow down, go down from here, and we want them to come at the and at a different location, spawn at a different location. So something like maybe the enemy could spawn here, and we want to shoot it here. Maybe the enemy wants to spawn here, so we have to shoot it here. So they we have to make the enemies come down, and so for that we have to type as self dot. So for this we are going to read a random module. In the last episode we didn't use that, we didn't import that, so let's import it now. Import random. So this mod so on so this mod so this module will help us to get randomized number, something like maybe 6 or 36 or 37, anything. So update function, here we are going to make the, so here actually I am thinking of not using the random module here. We are going to use it in our for loop, which we will be making for our enemy class to update and draw it. So right, for now we are just going to, in this update function, self dot y, we are going to plus this with self dot speed. This is a shortcut in Python for adding something to a number and saving it as that. So here self dot y is, will be getting, so if you still think it will go up, no, actually it won't. If we write it plus equal to self dot speed, it will actually go down. I already explained it in the first part of video about the x and y coordinates. So here I guess this will be enough, but still we have to update our this self dot rect. So self dot rect will plus equal, no, not that, is equal to pygame. I don't know why did I write that capital. Pygame dot rect, and here the R must be capital. So here we will provide the self dot x and self dot y, and so self dot x and self dot y, and here we are going to type the width and height. So width will be 20 and height will be 20. So now we have updated our self dot rect. Our enemy class is done. So now we have to go back to the code. I like using the scroll bars more. Yes, here we type an for. So we made an for bullet in bullets, right? We are going to make this same for loop here for ene. First, wait just a minute. So what we want is to automate the action of actually getting enemies down. First we are going to make a list of enemy, enemies, enemies. I don't know if I spelled that right or wrong. Python will correct. So this will be an empty list, and yeah, enemies spelling is not right. Then we want this to happen automatically. So let's do one thing. we are going to make and okay, we are going to make an tick here. We are going to make a variable tick, tick. We are going to set this to 0, and my idea is this. So we are going to make and the tick will plus equal 1. So now this will add for every time, every frame, this tick will be added by 1. So then we are going to check if tick is equal to, so we are going to tell set some number here which will actually make the tick, so which will we are going to set if tick is equal to some number of frames, let's say 100 or 1000. So this depends on the time. So let's say if for after every 100 frames you want an enemy to spawn, so we would do 100. But I'm thinking of doing something, you know what, 100 is only okay. I don't know why I choose that. So after this we want to set the tick back to 0, or else only one enemy will spawn and another enemy will not spawn, because I think you will get the idea. So the tick will equal to 0, and then what we want to do is enemies, and we want to dot append. We want to append an enemy here, so an enemy, and here now we have to provide our x and y. So the x will be so we are going to use our random and randint. So our random dot randint. So this will give us any, so this will give us an a very, so we are going to this, so this randint will give us an integer, which a random integer between our whatever value is a and b here. So what we are going to do is set it to be 0, and then the width, width minus 20. So now you might be thinking, why am I doing width minus 20 instead of doing width? Now let's think. Okay, so if the enemy is so we are going to count the x in just a minute. I think there's some problem over here. Wait, randint. Okay, I think we have it. Nope. I'm counting too many. Okay, yes. So here we are going to add the y to be something. So what do we want it to start from? Let's do, okay. Okay. So why am I doing width minus 20 is because if the so the x coordinates actually start from the left of the rect. So here if we have our rect over here, it will have the x will be the left of it, not the right. So if we did with it, the enemy will appear at the right of the screen, out of the screen. So how will the player hit it? So to make it fair, we are going to make it make it with it minus the size of the bullet. No, sorry, enemy. So here now we will enter our y. So this will be the top of our rat, our enemy. So I'm going to set this to be 10 pixels of the. We are going to set it to be 10 pixels of our real of our 0 of our top of the screen. So it will, if we had something like this over here, it will start over here or 10 pixels away from here. So this can really depend on you. Maybe you want it to be spawn very close to the player or very far from the player above the screen. Well, it's your wish, you can do that. So here we have done our if statement. So now we are going to work on our for loop for the enemy. So we are going to do this after the bullets for loop. Here for enemy enemy in enemies for enemy and enemies. Just a minute. For enemies and enemies, what we want is to first we are going to check if our enemy, if our enemy was hit by the bullet. So if enemy dot x is same is equal to bullet bullet. So this is not a global variable. So the problem right now is that we cannot detect if our bullet is hitting the enemy. So what I could do is maybe we could just a minute. So I was actually testing some things. So what you do, so actually in the enemy class, change the speed to a bit slower because it's actually unplayable. So guys, so first what you do is make a for loop with enemy and enemies, and we are going to add the enemy dot update and enemy dot draw, and we are going to add our surface here. I have did this before. I was testing some things, so that's why I paused the video. Here, now we have to check if our player's bullet is touching the enemy. So so for that I have this so we are going to make an if statement. If enemy and dot rect is enemy rect dot collide rect, and here we are going to type our bullet here, but for some reason, but in the last episode we made this for loop here. So what we can do is actually add an for loop here for bullet bullet and bullets bullets bullet dot rect oh yes. So actually we have made, in the last video we made our bullet and circle. You can see here we have drawn and circle, not in rect. So what we are going to do is going to change this to rect. By the way, sorry about why I'm doing this if you have watched the previous video, but we must change it to rect because that is what we can only do. Not only do, but it is just that we, because the thing is that we must need and rect instead of a circle. So because I didn't have any collide circle, I only had collide rect. Pygame module has only that. So we are going to change this to a rect. And in this rect here, we are going to go in this initialization. We are going to make an self dot rect, and this will equal to an pygame dot rect, and this will be a rectangle with maybe first we are going to write a self dot x and a self dot y, and here self dot, here we are going to add the width and height of the rectangle. I don't know why am I making a bullet rectangular, but you can add like animations and use surfaces and make a bullet image. So using that you could have used a bullet image, but right now I don't have any bullet image. What is this? Oh, okay. I only had that image, but it's not a bullet. So here self.x and self.y. You can make this game your own only. So that's why I'm not showing you anything about how to insert pictures. That would be an idea for next video. So here we are going to add the width and height of the bullet. So let's do maybe width of 3 will be good, 4 will be good, and height of 4 only because we want a square, not a rect. Now we have a problem with this draw here. We can check it. Make function from method. Wait just a minute. Oh wait, we are not having self in this. We have to remove this. Command X. If you're on Windows, you must do just a minute. You must do Control X. Oh come on. Here we are going to make an and command V. Here we don't have self, that's the problem. So please add in self and surface. So if you still get these squiggly lines over here, I think it is because of this self dot rect. Now we don't have any squiggly lines. So now what we do here is if it's touching the bullet dot rect, then what we want to do is delete this enemy from the enemy. So what we could do is I have this here. We are going to copy this, paste it over here. Now in this instead of bullets, type enemies, enemies, and here you also type enemie, enemies, and here you type by enemy. So now it will pop this enemy, but the problem is that even if it pops the enemy, it won't. It will still update. So what you do for this is bring this down. Use Shift and Command on Windows and Mac and Mac OS. I think it will work on Windows too. So use Windows key and Shift and click down and up to move this for loop up and down. So now it will update and draw it, but actually it will draw it for a split second and then it will just pop and never come out. It will just be what will happen is that it will just be removed by the player.display.update. I'm sure that is what will happen. So now let's try it. Now I'm sure there will be some problems. Okay, that's a very big problem. Enemy object at 0 at this. So guys, if you're thinking whatever is this, let me tell you, I think this is the memory location of our enemy object in a list. So that's what is. So main enemy object at is not in a list. So so to maybe fix this. So first check where is it coming from. It is coming from here. So there might be a problem over here. So I think it is because it is popping from here. What we can do is use some delete keyword. delete um enemies and enemy. Oops, we shouldn't use tuples over here. We should use our these square lines. So now we will see another squiggly lines here. It says it's an incorrect type. So what right now what the problem is that this enemy is actually a class. So what we are doing right now is actually just only appending an enemy which is a class which we made. So to fix that, so to fix that only, we must do enemies dot index enemy. So now it will find the index of this enemy class, which is stored in this enemy in the from the for loop, and then it will delete it. So now we let's see if there's any problems. Okay, we find some problem with our bullets. I think they are not seeming to move from the location. I get this. I can fix this problem. So here we changed it to a rect over here. Where is it? Yes. So now we changed it to a rect, but we are not updating the self.y. So to change that, we are going to do self. We are going to self dot rect will equal to pygame dot rect, and this will have self dot x and self dot y, and over here we will have our width and height of this, which will be 4 and 4. So so actually when we saw it there, it was kind of very small. To fix that, we are going to change the size from 4 to 4 to something like maybe something like I guess 7 might be good. You never know. We can test it. Okay, it's not like this game is going to be published after this in some internet or something. So we can test it. So it's no problem. So now our bullet should move. Good job. That is how it's works. So now if we see, the bullets are actually working. Now this game is kind of now fun, but we still don't have any score. And one more thing, if the enemy goes down, it gets stuck over there, or it just continuously goes down out of the screen and travels the whole universe. So to fix that too, because we don't want any external like external enemies just going all around the world. To fix that, we because actually I can show you, this can actually slow your game. So but I don't have much time for that. So we have to fix this. So what we can do is add something like else no elif if the like enemy dot y is more or than or equal to width. So now this will check if our enemy is actually below the screen, below the window. We are going to just copy this and paste it over here. Oh, and why am I using Control C and Control V? Command C and Command V. Now this should work. Now the enemies will travel and they should die out just as they come. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sure they are dead. Now we can actually test this by what we could do is here we can print length of our length of this enemies enemies. Now if we check, it says 0 1 2 3. It's still upgrading even though these enemies are out of the screen. So this might be a problem. So I think to fix this problem, so we are deleting the enemies, but they are still coming. Wait, just a minute. I want to fix one. Let's see something else. Yep, we are deleting the enemies, and just to know. Wait, these are going to travel in the screen. Oh, and also I find this problem where the bullet can just the player can spam with using the space bars like this. We are going to fix that. We have to fix that because that would be just cheating. Okay, another problem came. This is so main dot an enemy object at this digital location is not in the list. So it seems like here when we are deleting it in the line 108, it seems that it doesn't seem to find any enemies. So I think this is a problem. This is because we have this as an elif loop. So let's set it to if. Because what else if does is actually, just a minute. Now this will go down the screen and it should die. No, that went. So I don't like the fact that the bullet can just penetrate to their enemies. I want the bullet to also die after the enemy also dies. So to do that, what we can do is Command C this and paste it over here. So now this should work. Look, the bullet died. I kind of feel bad that the player has no aim of where it is shooting. So I think we can fix that too. Okay. So you know what? I think that if the game still stays hard, it will actually be challenging and more players will play. So we are not doing that. So first we saw so first let's solve the problem of the. No, we don't need to. So wait just a minute. Okay, you can see it again. Some things. So here it says 0. Now it says 1. I'm going to delete this guy. And I'm going to delete this guy. Delete this guy. Now if this guy goes down and I cannot, I missed him somehow. I missed another one somehow. It's still showing one because these the enemies on the screen are only being what shown. So yeah, so this works. So here it says to, now it seems to be increasing, but if I shoot my bullet it will now show 2. So it is just updating just if the bullet is being shown. Yeah, now let me tell you why is that happening. It is because when there's no bullet in the screen, why would it be running all of this? So I got an idea on how we can fix this. We just remove this out of the for bullet in bullets loop. So now this will run at every time, if for every enemy in the enemies. And one more thing, I think this enemy is actually kind of very slow. Something like, maybe like if a tick is mostly like 90, I think 90 would work. And yeah. So now we are going to add a scoreboard for, so the player could actually see what his score is. Here. So yeah. So guys, before we start rendering score on the board, we must do three things. First is we must initialize our font, which we will be using to make the text. Then we will make a font object. Then we are going to use the font object to we are going to use the font object to render some text on the screen. So let me show you that. First, initialize your font. So what we must do is go in the top of our screen. Here we have to type pygame dot font dot initialize. Now you might be thinking, why do we have to do this? I think maybe pygame might be having some font issues if we don't initialize it. So please initialize. So it will be good. Then what you must do is create a font object. Wait, what the hell is this? Oh, okay, just a minute. Okay, this will stay in the for the whole video, I guess. I guess it will stay there for the whole video. Oh my gosh, why? Okay, so now after we create a initializer, we must create an font object. So what we can do is go down here, enemy pop. So here I also added this enemy popped. I don't think this is useful, so just remove this. If you added this, then remove it. Okay. Then we will make a font object. So font font. We are going to use this font object for rendering a text. So first we have to go to our, we have to name our font. I'm just going to name it font. Then pygame dot font dot sys. Oh my gosh, sy. So this will be pygame.font.sys font. I was writing the S not capital, so we have to write it as capital. Okay, so then we in this sys font we have to type our own font of type. What I'm going to use is some, maybe, I will like Comic Sans. Comic Sans. Now if you are using charm, it will show some squiggly brackets. So to fix that, what you can do is click here and save Comic Sans to your dictionary. And this will actually stop that squiggly lines. Now you must add the size of the font. I'm going to say maybe like how about 30. So this will appear in 30 pixels of size. Okay. We made our font object. Now what we must do? So also when you are making your font object, you can change the size to anything, and I would recommend to use Comic Sans, but you can use any type of font you want. What I would recommend is also going to your browser, searching here Google font, Google Google fonts. Here you can find fonts. In this link we can find any fonts whatever we want. But right now I don't want to open it and waste any time, so I'm just going to boop, and you can set the size to whatever you want. So now what we are going to do is we have to now render our font, or must render our text for the score. So what I'm going to do is make a score variable here, core, and set it to 0. So what I'm going to do is over here is so what I'm going to do here is here in the enemies and for enemy and enemies, here for bullet and bullets, if enemy rect dot call it rect, this statement we are going to go here and also set the score by 1. So the score will increase for every enemy that is killed by the player. So now we have made our score variable, but we still, and by the way I recommend to remove this print. We only wanted it for some time, now we don't need it. And now what we want to do is actually render this font. So what we can do is say the score text is equal to, just a minute. So what you do is set the score. So for this score text what we can do is font dot render. Here we will add, just a minute. Sorry about all the disturbance if you heard anything. So here in the font dot render we are going to add our text here. So score, and we are going to write an equal sign and type here curly braces and score. Then we are going to add a comma and write then we are going to type the second parameter. Now this is anti-aliasing. So if you don't know anti-aliasing, what it does, it actually makes your text a lot smoother. So let's say you have a 4K or a 8K monitor, but the text in the game appears like very blocky and everything. So anti-aliasing fixes that and turns it more curved and more smooth and those things. So we are going to set this to 1, meaning it will go. Here also it says anti-alias. 1 means yep. 1 means actually yes. We want to turn on anti-alias thing. So then we are going to create, then in this here what we are going to do is, here we are now going to add the color. So for the color I'm just going to recommend using white. Now right now I'm just using a string white. You could also set this to be 255 and 255 RGB values if for white. So or for hexadecimal value you can use hashtag FFF. So that's an hexadecimal value for color. So now we have made our score text. Now we must use it in our screen. So what we do is surface dot blit, and here we are going to write score text, and here we are going to add the position. I can show you if it's the position. So here it says destination. I would like it to be 10 pixels. This should be a tuple, 10 pixels and 10 pixels in x and y. Now if we see this, we should see a very nice score being seen. And if we use this, look, the score is going up. But what if the score, what if these red, these enemies hit the bottom of the screen? Now that should be a loose screen, right? So what we could do is, so now what we can do is what I would recommend you to do is in all of this episode I was doing this in this while loop. Now what you can do is, just a minute, you turn this all into a function. So this will be a function which we will be running. So define game loop. Now this will be, so for this game loop we are going to, it will be this, and we still need parameters for this. Not parameters, but yeah, I guess these are global variables, so we don't need any parameters. So we just write game loop, and we must add 2 spaces after it. I don't know why. PyCharm will like it, so that's why. And we had tick 0. So now it seems to have a problem that this is tick is not global. So we can make that global. Any other problems? Oh, the score. It has a score parameter. I'm going to remove this none. It is useless. So this score here, now it has another problem. Let's see what it is. Okay, so we didn't use this score. We didn't use the game loop. So what we are going to do is the game loop, and we are going to give it the score. So now I think this should have some problem updating the score, I guess. Seems that it didn't had any problem updating the score, but still it shows this. We are going to rename it to some, I get it. So we are going to say to SCORE, and I'm going to say we keep it scorey. Now let me just tell you why, because actually the score is actually a variable from outside, and yeah, PyCharm doesn't like variables which are outside and also in a parameter. So like it is shadowing the outside variable. So I'm going to change this to scorey, and now it is showing squiggly lines. So what I can do is save scorey to, no, I'm just going to keep it score. Yeah, I guess that's nice. So that's, so to just fix the squiggly lines, I did that. Now the game should run, and we must, now this is our definition game loop. So now what we are going to do is create, what we are going to do is in this is like, if the enemy is enemy.y. Now yes, if let's see, if the enemy.y is in this if statement here, what we are going to do is, in the end, we are just going to say, we are just going to make the score back to 0. Now you might be thinking, why am I doing this, the score to 0? Now for the loose screen, we are going to make that for another episode. Right now I guess this is the max time, like I guess 1 hour. So guys, if you did it till here, well, good job. Put a pat on your pat on your back, because this is actually a great job. And I thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it, and goodbye everybody.